Hi, this is David Decoteau, and this is a very special episode of Trailers from Hell. Back in 1977, I saw a very obscure car crash horror movie at the Rosemoyer Theater in Gresham, Oregon. I became obsessed with this movie, and I don't know why. Probably because it never came out on VHS or DVD. It may have played on late night CBS. But over the years, I've been just obsessed with it. I remember it making an impression on me, and I don't know why. We're talking about Akaza, God of Vengeance, Death Ride, Devil Ride, Dracula Car. Why don't we just call it Crash? Akaza, a possessed idol. Bit of advice, don't buy a possessed idol from a guy who looks like that. There's Reggie Nalder from Salem's Lot and Sue Lyon from Lolita, and this is Crash. One of the popular genres of the 70s was the car crash movie. James Brolin was about to star in The Car for Universal, and so Charles Band made Crash not too many months prior to the release of The Car. Those Dobermans there are from Dracula's Dog, directed by Albert Band, the father of the director of this film, Charles Band. That shot right there is not even in the movie. Neither is this music. This music is some kind of music library music that's not in the film.
A car driven by revenge.
Sue Lyon gets this idol. She gets in a car accident because her jealous husband has decided to sick his Dobermans on her. She gets in a car crash. The car becomes possessed. And so now you have a driverless Camaro driving through Southern California doing this to innocent drivers. The stunt team on this was headed by Von Deming, who actually built the driverless vehicle. I'm not sure if you can tell, but when you actually see the vehicle, there's a very small, there's John Carradine, small window on the back seat of the vehicle, and the stunt man is actually driving the Camaro from the trunk. He's actually built a chassis coming from the from the steering wheel into the trunk, and he's driving it from the trunk. And it's a pretty clever design, and Von Deming is to give credit for the creation of that. But look at that car; it's amazing. This is pre-CGI, but there's a lot of explosions in this movie, created by the crazy pyro guy Harry Woolman, who was also known as Crazy Harry. And there's non-stop car chases. The thing is, the movie does not make a lick of sense because now, unfortunately, that shot there, which in the feature itself has an optical zoom, so you don't see the stuntman with a helmet on. But in the trailer, it looks like they didn't bother doing the optical zoom. There's quite a few shots in this movie where you see the stuntman wearing a helmet. That's Jose Ferrer. I think just in from Dracula's Dog, if I'm not mistaken. I think the movies were probably made within the same several months of each other. This idol appears throughout the movie, and she, unfortunately, the beautiful Sue Lyon has to wear some pretty crazy makeup and some pretty nasty-looking contact lenses throughout the film. This is a pretty cruel scene where the poor dog is killed by this possessed wheelchair because the Akaza is mounted to the wheelchair, and it has a mind of its own. I guess she's using telepathy. It's a very difficult movie to understand because I think the concept is all the car crashes and the car explosions and the possessed car stuff was supposed to be at the end. Now, you wouldn't have a 70s car crash movie without a cop car crashing through a billboard. One interesting thing here is the sound man on this film was cult film director John Hayes, who directed films such as Jailbait Babysitter. And he met Charlie on this film, and Charlie had him direct his next movie, which was End of the World. This is a 4-minute trailer. It shows you pretty much everything you need to see. But it is a fun little romp, and I saw it when I was living in Portland as a teenager, and I really kind of fell in love with this crazy little movie. Crash, the directorial debut of Charles Band. In 1977, when Charles Band produced and directed Crash, he chose to shoot all over Southern California, Valencia, Chatsworth, Piru, Fillmore. But right now we're on Sierra Highway, and this is the location for one of the most spectacular sequences in the movie, where cars collide into a gas station and it causes a gigantic explosion. The explosion was so big that it blew out the windows on that cafe right there. Back in 1977, this was called Gill's Market. There's a spectacular sequence where a police car in pursuit of two other vehicles crashes into the two vehicles and lifts off and then crashes into this parking lot, into this house right over here. As you can see, the house is the same house still standing, although Gill's Market is completely different. I was told by production manager Richard Band that the car was supposed to hit these vehicles and land in the street. But what actually happened is the car crashed right into that house. And the man who produced and directed Crash is Mr. Charles Band. He also produced all the movies you see here, and here he is right here. Charlie. It's like a miracle. Charlie, Crash. What the fuck?
Is that a question? Yes. What the fuck? Early movie, I think one of my first films, had to figure out a way to get an interesting story wrapped around a horror theme, which is kind of what I wanted to do, because the exhibitors were saying, give us a lot of car crashes and some people with name value. Presto bingo, we had just that. So we shot the car crashes over the weekend, which were the more difficult part. Actually, we shot the whole movie over, I think, 3 weekends. But had a wonderful cast and a haunted little story, and we destroyed, I think, 50 cars. It was awesome. I'm not much of a movie memorabilia collector, but when it comes to the movie Crash, I'm a total completist. I've got the fabulous US one sheet of Crash. Take a look at that. That is so cool. I had this, I got it from the Rosemoyer Theater, and I had it on my wall when I was a kid, my teenage years, and I brought it with me all the way from Portland when I moved to Los Angeles. I've got a very cool insert card. I think it's possibly British. I'm not sure. It's in English, so maybe Australian? I'm not sure. Pretty cool, eh? I've also got this very cool German release poster. I think it translates into Dracula car. I'm not sure. Very cool, though. And I've got a small still collection of it. This is from the US release, picture of Jose Ferrer and his Doberman. I've got a terrific Japanese program, which looks very cool. I'm not sure if this was a press book or, I don't speak Japanese, so I'm not sure what all this translates to, but nice little press book here. And this is a small little press sheet or program for the French release of the film, which is kind of neat. You're probably wondering what happened to the movie Crash. Well, the original negative was processed here at Deluxe Laboratories near Sunset and Western in Hollywood. From what I understand, the answer print was done here, and the original cut negative is in the vault here at Deluxe. Sad story is that Hollywood will have one less motion picture laboratory as Deluxe is closing their doors after 100 years in business. In 1980, I moved to Los Angeles, California to become a production assistant for Roger Corman. I also worked for Wim Wenders and several other directors such as Ken Russell and people like that. But in 1986, I was lucky enough to have a man named Charles Band give me my directorial debut with a movie called Dream Maniac. I went on to direct over 30 movies for Charles Band. He became a dear friend, and one day he said to me, he says, David, let me take you out to dinner for your birthday. I said, absolutely. I arrive at the dinner, Musso and Frank, as usual, Hollywood Boulevard, and he says, happy birthday, David. I brought you the greatest birthday present in the world. And I said, what, another movie? And he said, no. A casa. Bye.